Jaevon, because the 49ers absolutely handled business against the Eagles last week, and the 49ers continued to handle business in their bird gauntlet, starting with the Seahawks, going to the Eagles, and now back to the Seahawks as the 49ers beat the Seahawks 28-16 on Sunday. And with the Packers' loss on Monday Night Football to the New York Giants, the 49ers are the first team in the NFL to clinch a playoff spot. They swept Seattle for the second straight year, and they are in the playoffs for the third straight season in the last 4 out of 5 years. Finally, Jaevon, I believe that you won some money yourself with this 49ers win.
I'm going to look right into the camera. Emmanuel Anderson. Been looking for you, man. Can't find you. Won't answer my calls. Won't answer my texts. Never heard from him. He just, he's going through it right now. He's going through a tough time in his life. He once stepped to us on this podcast and said, Seattle Seahawks were going to split with the San Francisco 49ers. And I thought there was a snowball's chance in hell that wouldn't even happen. I was like, even if we play you guys a third time, you just get more and more chances to just lose. You can do more and more chances to lose. So, yeah, maybe Kev could reach out to him for me, and maybe he could connect us through. But just going to the game, the system quarterback, 19 of 27 for 368 yards. Those are video game like numbers. He had a touchdown and a pick. The pick was a ball that did hit Brandon Ayuk's hand, so he had a chance to catch the ball and it deflected, went to the defender's hand. So, career high. Had a career high in passing yards. So I don't know if system quarterbacks throw for that much. Christian McCaffrey, 16 for 145. Video game like numbers, some might add. Deebo Samuel had 7 receptions for 149. He had 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing. He broke the record for rushing touchdowns by a wide receiver. That's 14, I believe now. Brandon Ayuk, the guy that you just won $100 off, went 6 for 126. It just seems like pretty much he's open on every play. It just seems like the separation that he gets on most defensive backs, it's like they're not even the same radius as him. George Kittle added 3 for 76 yards and a touchdown. So, I mean, Purdy looks – he's been incredible, man. And his numbers I listened to, like, Trent Williams in the locker room a little bit, and he was kind of saying that, everybody's saying that he's still a system quarterback. It's ridiculous. And he's putting up, like, the same amount of numbers as a guy by the name of Kurt Warner.
He's pretty good.
And the greatest show on turf. He's a Hall of Famer, won a Super Bowl ring. And basically when he was with the Rams, the numbers that he's putting up, I think it's like, I don't know if it's like passer rating or like, basically his numbers are like similar to what Kurt Warner's number was for when he was playing with the Rams when they went to the Super Bowl and won it. Those are the same type of numbers that Brock Purdy's been putting up. So, I mean, we saw DK our coach kind of came out, a story came out about our coach that we're going to basically get into DK Metcalf's head. And he has a history of going off on DBs for some weird reason. I have no idea why. When, plays all the way down the field, he likes to lock up with defensive backs and push on them and get flagged. And yeah.
Can't do ASL. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So the sign language that our long snapper came out and said that DK basically fucked around and he found out, which was amazing.
Sure did.
I mean, DK, he came out. He was Drew Lock came out on the second drive after we scored. They answered. They kind of went bing, bang, boom down the field and drove down the field and scored. So that I give them credit to that. They were kind of hanging around up until like the third quarter. And we kind of just popped the top off. The guys kind of got in their mode and, we ended up ultimately getting DK ejected, but that was pretty much towards the end of the game. Demo got ejected too. I don't think he should have got ejected. Maybe a personal foul called, but I don't think he should have warranted an ejection. Some people were saying that. Like Greg Olson, I don't know, like, does he not like the 49ers or whatever it is? He was saying that Fred Warner started the fight. That was not even further from the truth.
I mean, he kind of did. He kind of did. You see? You remember the replay, right?
Yeah. So the replay happened. Okay. So DK slams him on his back after he already, the ball got lateraled, I guess, but it was technically like a forward lateral. So he slammed him on his neck, and usually that's a foul when you slam somebody on their neck. And so he's like, bro, what the fuck? And then so obviously he's gonna hit him back, and then DK is like, grabbing his face mask and doing all this and that, and that's how he ended up getting ejected because he's breaking shit on the sidelines.
Demo came flying in.
Yeah, after. So I mean, just all in all, from a standpoint, the Niners are just simply better than the Seahawks. I feel like the Seahawks have really good, skilled players on their offense, like Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Jackson Smith, and Jigba from
the Ohio State University.
There we go. So they got dudes on their team. I just feel like, Gino and freaking Drew Lock, who I was once a part of the Drew Lock fan club. I turned in my badge during the Shaun days. So when he was in
Denver, that was a short experience.
I definitely turned in my badge there. But as far as the game goes, I just think that it was closer than it should have been. But I feel like the Niners didn't cover the spread with 2 touchdowns. I thought the spread was way too high. When the spread first came out, it was like 13, 14 points already. So the line really didn't move the entire week. But just going back to the game, Purdy is just showing you why I feel like he's probably the league MVP right now. And it could be that, Joe Burrow's hurt, and Mahomes playing like doo-doo, and Josh Allen is playing Trevor Lawrence is playing like they want to give it to one of these guys, but then there's this old 7th rounder on the West Coast who's just throwing for 300 plus, putting up 30 points a game, and he's yak, and he's getting all this, and freaking Debo's getting all yak yards, and I'm like, bro, he leads the league in so many statistical pass categories and has nothing to do with yak. And I saw somebody on Twitter say that the Niners only have 5 drops this year, and they were trying to argue that Dak was the MVP. He was saying Dak has his receivers dropped the ball 22 times. Okay, well, okay, it's not my problem that your receivers drop the ball and we just have, really talented guys. And people are going to say that it's the weapons around him, blah, 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 this, that. Okay, well, look at what everybody needs. Everybody needs weapons around them to make the quarterback look good. Look at what fucking Patrick Mahomes. He's playing like shit this entire year because he has Travis Kelce and fucking Kadarius Toney out there. MVS is dropping the ball every single late game heroic. Sky Moores, and you kind of just look around and it's tough when your quote unquote weapons aren't able to produce for you. But when you have guys like Deebo Samuel, who we drafted, guys like George Kittle, who we drafted, Brandon Ayuk, who we also drafted, and they're good. These are the guys that
even Jawan Jennings, who we drafted, third and Jawan
is a slot receiver that's going to get you the first down at will. So I mean, you can't be mad for the team that we kind of built around him. And obviously Christian McCaffrey was a guy that we traded for,
game changer.
just to
C- according to ESPN.
The team up even more. But yeah, C- trade. Sticker with Sundo, Shaun, ESPN. But it's just Christian McCaffrey is just a guy who can take the top off, as we saw in the second play of the game, go for 73 yards. And I mean, Jimmy was not able to do anything like this, man. He wasn't able to push the ball downfield. We were able to get the slants, screen passes, maybe some over the middle digs, but we're getting 50, 40, 60-yard bombs from Purdy, at least once or twice a game. And it's there
was 3 in this one. There was the one to Debo, there was the one to Kittle, and then there was a couple to Ayuk. There was at least 5 in this one.
Yeah, I'm this is not something the system quarterback does. So at the end of the day, I feel like all quarterbacks are pretty much system quarterbacks. Mahomes stars the Andy Reid system, Brady, I feel like Brady is an anomaly. He is the system. Like, we're just seeing, Trevor Lawrence, Doug Peterson. We saw what he looked like with Urban Meyer, Joe Burrow. He's with Zach Taylor, Matt Stafford when he gets, wins the Super Bowl with, McVay after he was putting up insane stats in Detroit, goes to LA, they win a Super Bowl. So I feel like at the end of the day, all quarterbacks are system quarterbacks at the end of the day in some type of fashion. You can't just fault my quarterback. Oh, it's the yak. It's not all yak. So, it's frustrating because people are just gonna turn a blind eye to Brock Purdy and just say that, oh, it's because he has Debo, it's because he has Ayuk, and he has George Kittle. Okay, well, Jimmy Garoppolo had the same exact team, and he was not putting up these numbers. So it's very, it was the cherry on top when the Cowboys beat the Eagles on Sunday night to get us that number 1 seed. Appreciate you, bro. Hey, man. Shout out to Uncle Manny. Shout out to Jew. Shout out to Dak Prescott. But I believe Purdy is just right now, I think he's the MVP of the league, and it's insane to say.
It really is insane to say. And Kevin Sr., he says it great here on YouTube as he says, Niners get a lot of yak because Purdy hits the receivers in perfect stride. Just as you were saying, that's something that Jimmy Garoppolo could not do consistently. And a lot of deep passes he successfully completed. And yeah, I know. Jimmy Garoppolo is on the bench for a team that scored 0 points on Sunday. That's where Jimmy Garoppolo is at right now. And I also just wanted to say to Kevin Sr., who says, I need a picture of Kevin Jr. in a 49ers jersey. I'll even buy it. Don't worry. No charge. It's on Stats Over Politics. We got you next Monday. I'm going to take so many photos. I might even bring my actual camera for some good photos. But anyways, I absolutely loved this game from the 49ers. After the whole 2013 NFC Championship game, I have had so much hate for the Seattle Seahawks, and to see the 49ers absolutely dominate them the last couple of years, like you said earlier, if the 49ers even played them a third time again this year, we are both confident that they would handle them. And speaking of our